Hi, welcome back to the Launch Point Leader Podcast. My name's Lori.
This is Beau.
And we're so excited to be back here for another week to share with you a letter a listener has written into us. And our letter this week says, Dear Launch Point, here's my situation. I'm on a team where the rules only seem to matter for some of us. A few of my coworkers stroll in late, cut corners, and bend all the little rules. And our boss never says a word. Meanwhile, the rest of us are showing up on time, pulling our weight, and following the standards that were set out. It might not sound like a big deal, but it really is getting old. When no one calls out the small stuff, it starts to feel like people who are doing the right things are the suckers. I've been here for a couple years, and at first it didn't really bother me, but now it makes me wonder why I even bother. While I have some seniority now, I still don't hold a very high role. So how do I handle a boss who won't address the little things that I feel like are making a big difference? Signed, Fed Up Follower.
Oh, man. You always get the least level that you expect, right? Like that, whatever you decide to accept, not expect, but whatever you decide to accept, that's the level in which everybody else usually falls to. This is tough because this is interesting to me. It's a little bit foreign. I don't understand how you can't hold everybody to the same level of accountability. Maybe there is no accountability. Maybe this is self-accountability from those of you that are coming in feeling like suckers, and there's no accountability for everybody in the organization. My initial thought in just hearing it and reading it is, man, why don't you get together and go, hey, what are some policies and procedures we could put back in place and present that to your boss and say, hey, I think if we did this, it would help us be more productive. I think we would see these metrics in the company increase. I think we would see these metrics decrease. Like, I think it would help us hit our goals because everyone would understand we're all on the same playing field. Everybody's going to show up on time. All of that. So, like, this is what I would propose as us moving forward. If that already exists and the boss isn't holding people accountable to it, I would say, like, who is their boss? It might be time to hire like an HR specialist or a compliance specialist if that's not their cup of tea or they don't want to do that as the leader in this department or organization. You need to hire somebody that can because it's definitely a blind spot. But I think from the Fed Up Followers standpoint, the first suggestion would be not to just go and like dump all of this on the boss. It would be to go with a proposal that is persuasive, that attacks each of these things where there's some shortcomings amongst some of the team members there, and kind of relate it back to business metrics and see where that gets you first.
Would you ever recommend going like
and tattling? No, I don't
not
think so.
tattling. Coworker to coworker. Would you ever they say it's a few coworkers. Like, would you ever recommend going to speak to them directly?
I mean, I think that's hard, right? Because I think if the situation is not toxic, which it doesn't necessarily sound like it is, it's just kind of a little loose.
Yeah.
Then I think a coworker could go to another one-on-one, two-on-one, group-on-one is kind of how I would go, like that biblical model of it. And just go, hey, well, I think we need to tighten up a little bit here. You know, like I've noticed you clock in like 28 minutes late every single day. Yeah. The rest of us are here on time. I know it might not mean much to you, but for the rest of us as like a team, you know, it really kind of hurts that team morale. Would you be able to get here when you said you're supposed to be here, right? Like, could you do that? So I think it could work. You know, you just got to be prepared with the repercussions of what that might cause. And if that rises up to the boss level, I think you just want to make sure that you're not the one causing drama, that you're just going and saying, hey, this is what we agreed to. You're not doing it. We'd love for you to do that.
Yeah, follow through.
Yeah, because the last thing you want is for the boss to know what's going on because you're like being really dramatic about the issue, in my opinion.
And so I feel like I know what you're going to say, but I'm still going to ask it. How do you keep it from becoming a drama issue and keep it very standardized?
Well, I mean, it's black and white. it's if you and I both agreed in our contracts or in our bylaws or whatever it is that I was going to be here at a certain time and you were too, and I decide not to show up. I mean, you're just going, hey, first off, maybe the right way is anything going on? Are you okay? Is anything like happening we've just noticed you've been late a lot, or we've noticed that you've missed deadlines a good bit. And like, is your team, we just want to make sure you're okay. Is there anything we can do to support you? Is there anything that you need help with? And I think if you come at it from that standpoint, it kind of takes the guard down that they're going to have up initially. And then you go, hey, okay, so if there's not, right? If there is, let us help. Like, we're here. But if there's not, you just go, hey, like, help us understand. Because like, it's starting to cause some problems internally here with us showing up at this time, you showing up at this time, or missing whatever. So help us just understand why that's happening and how we can help you close that gap. That's kind of what I would pitch.
That's good. I want to flip it for a minute and go to the leader's perspective.
Yeah.
And maybe have a little fun with this. Fed Up Follower, we're going to stray from your story a little bit and take some liberties. So do not be offended.
I don't know where she's going, so
this
we'll
is a
see.
surprise.
Yeah.
I just thought about it in the moment. Say you are the leader and you've got a team and you're more of a flexible team. You've got two groups of people, and you've got the people that are meeting their metrics. They're hitting what they do, but they are more flexible. Maybe they're coming and going at a different pace. And you have a team member that is a big stickler for the rules, and in their mind, things aren't being met to their standards. But as far as your team standards that you set out, these people are still meeting your standards. That's something I've seen before. You've got someone that maybe has come from a very structured environment and loves the rules, quote unquote, that they have in place. So their rules aren't being met and they're frustrated. But as far as the team standards, you feel as if everybody's meeting what they need.
That's yeah. I think you have to just go to the boss at that point, because you got to understand what their perspective is. Because if you came to me with that, I don't care, Lori, I care when you're working too much.
Sure.
That I very much care about that. And when you're working, we kind of have defined it of a certain hour amount. When you're working over that amount, it's got to be because one of two things. It's either a season where it's really difficult, we're going through some things and it's requiring more of you, and that makes sense for a season. But we got to be working on the right things to get out of that season quickly. The second part, though, is that a lot of times when you're working that much, you're not actually doing the things you need to be doing. You're just kind of filling in and doing a lot of busy work, because it's like firefighting stuff in the moment. So I care about how much people are working in that respect, but I don't care if you work 20 hours a week. If you're getting your job done completely and hitting the metrics and leading your group of people in the right direction, bravo. What else can you take on? How can we take what you're doing and move it to other departments and that kind of thing as well? So I think, and I say all that knowing that the question was like, well, what do you do when you got a rule follower and then people that are hitting stuff and don't? Ultimately, it's got to come from the top. It just does. I mean, if people in our organization didn't know that that's the way I felt, then they would all be wondering and having this infighting. So at the end of the day, somebody's got to make a clarifying statement on this. You can't neglect your work and only work 20 hours a week. But if you only work 20 hours a week and you are killing it in your work, then teach everybody else what you're doing and how to do it better. But I think that's got to come from the top.
Yeah,
really.
Absolutely. Yeah, it was just an interesting perspective, because obviously these letters are written from an individual, right?
Yeah.
And it's what we're seeing from their businesses, from their lens and their perspective. And again, nothing to Fed Up Follower. Like, I'm sure this isn't your scenario. Just thinking through what this could look like in different organizations, because I do know from working under you that you do have a flexible leadership style in that way. Like, as long as things are getting done, you're not checking time punches every single day for every person on our team. And this could be a situation where it could be like that a little bit, but from their perspective, they feel very defined. They feel like they're bending the little rules. And so I think just really checking with yourself, and that is why I would really recommend, like what you said earlier, is talking to your boss and getting those standards. Like, are these little rules that you're perceiving as company culture, or are they truly the standards that are set out? And then if they're not being upheld, once you say like, yes, this, and this are 100% things that everyone should be doing. Okay, well, I believe you need to address this with the team. Here's where we're seeing it. Here's how it's affecting.
Yeah, I think so too. A lot of times perspective is everything. So just having that conversation in a very respectful and inquisitive way with the boss could potentially open your eyes to things you might not realize. Because like you said, it's one person's perspective. When you gain the perspective of other people, and especially the leader, you might realize there's other things at play that you haven't known before, and therefore it might change your perspective and kind of get a better understanding of what they're trying to do, where they're trying to lead you to. So I think a conversation is always helpful, as long as it's in a very respectful and non-blaming or attacking or, hey, why don't you do this? Or I need you to do this kind of way.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, that's great. Anything else you want to leave for Fed Up follower?
No, I think that's it. I think that's great. I appreciate you writing in and give some of these a try, and then let us know how it goes. And, tell us if we failed or won.
Yeah, I think always happy to have a follow-up conversation. Don't be afraid to reach out. And I really appreciate you just sharing this with us. And if you or someone you know has something else you'd like to write us in, you can always visit our website, launchpointleader.com, and we would love to hear from you. Thanks so much, and we'll see you next week.
See ya.